actually manage to break my 180. So here is my 180 here. It's got 295 minutes of flight time and 63 flights. So basically 5 hours of flight time. It's hard to know when, but I crashed this thing a number of times in the grass. Most recently this morning, I flew it on 5 flights this morning. So I'm pretty sure I crashed it in the grass. And if you look down here on the bottom of the main gear, you'll notice that there's no screw in the end there. So right at the bottom of the wheel, that hole, there should be a screw there, and there's not. So I think what happened from the blades hitting the grass a number of times and probably 4 or 5 crashes, what's happening is I didn't get the throttle down fast enough or throttle hold down fast enough. The motor was still putting out power and turning the main gear when the blades hit the grass. So I've crashed this thing, like crashed it, not really like a crash, but really set it down in the grass about 6 times. So if you take a look, you can kind of see there's like some grass up in the tail tube, and so this thing's been crashed 4 or 5 times, what I would call easy crashes. And of course it went in the river the one time. That tail servo, not tail motor, tail servo was all full of condensation. So I'm going to loosen up the tail belt, loosen a couple screws up, move the tail boom in, loosen up the tail belt, take that gear off. I could probably get away with replacing just the screw that's on there, but there's a crack in the housing as well, and I just don't want to put off problems till tomorrow. Or, you know, I fly this thing a lot, and sometimes I fly it pretty hard, pretty high. I'm just going to go ahead and replace the gear, you know, and the screw. Alright, we'll see you later. Alright, so I'm back here. I've got the main gear front belt pulley removed from the 180. All I needed was my MIP 1.5mm wrench and a ball link popper. I popped these ball links off of here just in case. I didn't want to be moving that main shaft up and take any chances of damaging the little ball link connectors or any of that. So I just took all that stuff off before I started horsing around with it. It wasn't the easiest thing. I don't know if because this screw broke off in there or what, but it was actually a little difficult to pull that main torque shaft out of this main gear and front belt pulley. But anyways, after taking those parts off and this you know, which all took about 5 minutes, pulled it out. Now you can see here, if you look at this underside, we got a little bit better of a view now. You can see one end of the screw still remaining in there, and this part over here where the arrow is, you can see where the old screw broke off and it cracked the assembly. Now, like I said, most likely I could just put a new screw in there and it would probably be fine with a little glue on it. But it's grab my manual here, look that part up. It's part number 22 right there, BLH 5807 main gear front belt pulley Fusion 180, $5.50. I just ordered it. You know, it'll be here in 2-3 days, and it'll be fixed properly. That shaft was turning inside this gear, so what happened was the helicopter just spun up to a certain speed, but then just wouldn't take off. So get this replaced the right way with the right part that's working properly. Now I pulled off 63 flights with a total of 295 minutes of flight time. And I set this thing in the grass twice this morning. Down the tail motor, the first time I hit the tail motor in the grass, or tail blades rather. It doesn't have a tail motor. It's a belt in the front, so you can kind of see the belt hanging up in there. I tried to keep that as straight as possible as I shifted the gear out, So now when the new one comes in, I'll just slide the gear into that slot, put that belt back on top of the belt section, and then slide the main shaft back down in, put the screw through, and then reattach the ball lengths. And then back here, it was super easy. It's really just 2 screws for this tail. This screw right here and this screw right here, which were both 1.5 millimeter. MIP, by the way, if you can pick up a set of these, if you can find it in the old budget, these are great tools. I like them because when you put all the screws on there, they don't come off. So if you're trying to reach inside the model and like put a servo head screw on for a servo that's on the inside, the screws will generally stay on the end until you get the threads in. So MIP's great tool. Here's my old E-flite kit. This bag and these tools are probably 15 years old. So this was a great set, but all my hex wrench ones were getting a little beat up after 15 years. Picked up these MIPs, love them. Still have most of the other E-flite stuff over here though. So that's it. Needs a new main gear front belt pulley and $5.50. I already have it ordered. That whole process took me like about 2 minutes, and it'll be coming in the mail, and we'll get this thing flying again. So 63 flights before I broke apart, and it was totally my fault. I crashed this thing in the grass about 5 times. I'm not exactly sure when this screw broke or when it fell out. I probably broke the other day, a couple days ago. I set it in the grass 2 or 3 times, and I think I broke it the other day, and today it just made its way out. So we'll get that part ordered, get it put in place, and that's it. We'll do a follow-up video with it flying again in a few days. Alright, so just want to do a quick wrap-up video here. Came home, was away for 2 days, main blade was in the mail, main gear is in the mail, so got it in. There it is in there. You can see the head of the screw and the threads on the other side, and obviously no crack in the bottom of the gear. 2 screws, one here and one from the side here to tighten the tail boom. I used this gap right here, so I just made the gap about the same as it was. And then the other thing is the belt tension. So with the belt tension, what I did is take this screwdriver and put a little pressure on this belt, and then when I put tension back on there, I just try to set it right back at the same tension it was. I set those kind of loose a little bit, like not real tight here, and then got the tail boom where I wanted it, lined it up straight, and then torqued it down. Reconnected our ball links, powered it up, took it outside, gave it a hover test for a good 10, 15, 20 seconds. It's back to flying like its old self again. So the 180 is up and fixed. Breaking down and modifying my Blade 500 that's all original, that's never been modified in any way. I'm going to upgrade the landing skid here to something a little more durable. This is a T-Rex 500 landing skid, so we're going to put that in. Just got to drill new holes in it to get it to line up with the Blade 500. Also having a problem with my Frankenstein Blade 500 that's made up of a lot of different parts. When I give it throttle, it torques sideways. So I'm hoping that some larger tail blades are going to fix that problem, because the tail blades are still Blade 500 tail blades. These are 600 tail blades, which the motor in that one is a 600 motor and a 690 amp speed control. So hopefully these blades will correct that problem. And this is the charger that I ordered for my 360 because it's got variable charging rate. So I've batteries here for the 180 on that little cheap charger I bought, I believe is overpowering it because it's charging the batteries in like 15-20 minutes, but I think some of them are starting to not be as good as they were when I got them. So there it is, Blade Fusion 180 back up and running. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, do all that good stuff, and hey, we'll see you out there.